Okay guys, welcome to my YouTube channel where we are going to discuss on how we should work hard, how we should work smart, how we should think big, think of our future, think of tomorrow, think outside the box. Remember, this is going to be your future. So especially I'm going to talk to students because they are our heroes tomorrow. Teachers, lawyers, engineers, pilots, accountants, and so on. Where we are going to discuss on how to work smart, how to work hard, how to think big, how to think of our future, have big dreams, think outside the box. So especially today we are going to talk to our students because they are our heroes tomorrow. They are our pilots, engineers, doctors, leaders, lawyers, accountants, name them. So remember, this is a road to success. Please concentrate, learn and share. So as I've said before, we are going to discuss on how we should work smart. Because remember, even in the Bible, it's written that those who do not work hard should not eat. And Paul is the one who said these words. And again in the Bible, under the consequences of sins, it's written that one of the consequences of sins is that human beings will have to toil, struggle and toil and sweat, in order for them to meet their needs. So we just have to work hard in order for us to enjoy our fruits tomorrow. So especially as I've said back, we are going to talk to our students because they are our heroes tomorrow. So I just want to encourage them on how to pass, especially the final paper, that is from 4 KCC paper. So point number 1 is that when joining Form 1 and you want to make it in your life, for example, you want to pass your exam, just start from the foundation, that is Form 1. Ni kama tu, for example, unataka kujenga nyumba ya gorofa. So what you should consider first ni foundation. Hiyo ndio kitu unafaa uangalie sana. Foundation inakaaje? Because without foundation, hiyo gorofa haiwezi kuwa gorofa. So when like joining Form 1 and you want to pass a subject like let's say for example mathematics, and you know maths, you just have to get things like a calculator, mathematical instrument and a logbook. So ni jukumu lako kuhakikisha kwamba uko na kokoto ndio uweze kupita hisabati, somo la hisabati. There's no way you can pass in maths without these 3 instruments. So if you want to work hard, make sure you start from Form 1. You keep on asking questions from teachers and keep on working hard. Revising maths is when you will pass, then you will end up enjoying your fruits in future. Today we are going to discuss, we are going also to look at on how to ask questions and also to do revisions. You know, most of the students always they don't like asking questions. Unapata kwamba mwalimu mwingine, unapata kwamba mwanafunzi anafia mwalimu, yani akiona mwalimu anamuogopa ama pengine mwalimu alimchapa, basi unapata kwamba mwanafunzi anaanza kusema mimi nachukia huyo mwalimu, siwezi kumuuliza swali. Jua kwamba maisha ni yako. So it's upon you to ask him question in order for you to pass exam. Muulize tu, mwalimu, how do we do this maths? How do we do this English? I don't understand vector. I don't understand this area called probability. How can we do this angle of elevation, teacher? In order, so is when you can pass exam. Remember, without asking question, without forming group discussion, then there's no way you can ask questions. So kitu kingine kwamba ningependa kuambia wanafunzi kwamba make sure that unakuwa na group discussion. Group discussion husaidia sana kwa sababu kuna wanafunzi wengine huwa wanaogopa walimu wengine. Kuna wanafunzi wengine wanakuanga na hiyo tabia sana. Wanaogopa especially mwalimu mkuu na naibu mwalimu mkuu. Huwezi kwenda kumuuliza swali kwa sababu unamuogopa chini mkali. So keep on asking questions to teachers, make group discussion, make group discussion with student wenzako, hata kama nyinyi ni watu 5 during games time, saa zile watu wameenda kucheza mpira kiwanjani, nyinyi basi hakikisha kwamba mko na group yenu hapo, mna revise, hata kama ni maths, hata kama ni English, hata kama ni maybe let's say CR, just something like that, and you will end up passing your exam during the final paper, that is KCSE exam. Another thing is that the reason why students always fail in exam is that they like using revision books most of the time. Yani wanafunzi wana depend sana kwa revision books more than course books. Umejua in Kenya, I don't know how they are doing it in other countries, but in Kenya we are using KLB. I remember 2015 when I was teaching my students 2015, unapata kwamba mwanafunzi ukiangalia loka yake, ukifungua desk yake, basi uangalie ndani, unapata kwamba vitabu za revision books zimejaa. Kama ni top mark hapo, Q&A, fix it, ingine sijui inaitwa breakthrough, ingine inaitwa pamphlet. Unapata kwamba revision books zimejaa. And today I want to encourage students that please don't depend so much on revision books. The reason why I'm saying this is that kwamba revision books ziko na short, yani zimekuwa tu short sentence, yani wame through to some answers, yani in short unapata kwamba one question has got 10 answers in revision books, lakini ukienda kwa KLB utapata kwamba ni one question. So if you read revision book, my friend, you will fail. Do you remember NEC set exam using Kenya National Examination? NEC set exam using course book, and that is Kenya Literature Bureu. So please read Kenya Literature Bureu, that is KLB, apart from history. Only history is what you should take this book called Evolving World. So we use Evolving World when revising, preparing for your final paper, that is KCSE exam. So I don't know how they are doing it in other countries, but in Kenya I've been a teacher for so long and I know the challenges my students are passing through, and that is the reason why I'm telling them to read KLB. And if it is CRE, let's say for example CRE paper 2. CRE paper 2, CRE we've got 2 papers, and in paper 2 we only use paper 2 is the Bible description. Remember, it's the life and the history, life, history and the ministry of Jesus Christ. So that is the story, that is paper 2 CRE. So if you are going to sit for CRE in Kenya, we use this Bible called Revised Standard Bible. So I always tell my students to read Bible because that is paper 2 CRE. And remember, paper 2 CRE is St. Luke Gospel, and St. Luke Gospel is chapter 1 to 24, and that is the life and ministry, history of Jesus Christ. Yeah, from the beginning of his life till his resurrection. So if you read paper 2 CRE, then you will pass. Remember, that is paper 2 CRE, that is CRE. So up to that point, I hope we are clear. Okay, I think maybe I'm through. Maybe if Madam Mercy, you have any question up to that point.
Of course, I have one question.
Yeah.
Wanafunzi wangu wamekuwa kinisumbua about this question. Like, what do you think in this year itakuja kwa exam?
Okay.
Get question.
Madam Mercy, that's a very good question you asked, by the way. But with due respect to you, with due to time, allow me not to answer that question now, please.
No, why?
Okay.
Just
Okay, because it's something that you've insisted and the time has gone. Let me just answer it as fast as I dare. Okay, I must get question, especially ukisikia mwanafunzi amekuuliza swali kama hiyo, ama jua kwamba wewe ni mwanafunzi mwenye apendi kusoma, yeye anapenda shortcut. Ndio maana nakuuliza must get question, but I must get question, by the way, are always there. Like especially in CRE, we have CRE paper 1 and paper 2. CRE paper 1 and paper 2, and in this CRE paper 1, each question has got question 1 to 6, and each question, like for example, if it's question 1, it is question 1 A, B, C, question 2 A, B, C, question 3 A, B, C, hivyo hadi question 6 A, B, C. So you do 5 questions, you leave 1. Una choose 5, you leave 1. Yeah. So like for example, in CRE paper 1, you will get such, I must get questions are always very easy to predict. Like for example, Sammy, like in my class 2015 when I was teaching my students, you know 2014, it was 2014 question 2. Okay, let me start with question 1. I mean, in question 1, in paper 1 question 1, question will come from introduction to CRE, that's the Bible, or paper 2, that is the, I mean introduction to CRE, that is creation, or paper or topic 2, book 1, that is the Bible. So that is where question 1 always comes from, introduction to CRE, creation, or the Bible. And so it's upon you to know things to do with creation, similarities, differences, first and second creation account for you to pass in paper 1 question 1. You have to know that. Again, there is also a question that can also come in paper 1, in question 1, like Bible. So it's upon you to know the authors of the Bible, versions of the Bible, so such like. In question 2 paper 1, we have question 2 paper 1, we have the story of Abraham or Moses. That is what can either will always be there. So like 2014, it was about Moses. Then 2015 it was about Abraham. I remember well because I was teaching my students na walikuwa wanacheza. Nobody was asking question, they were looking outside the window. You remember paper 1 English, such like questions. So students not concentrating, they don't ask questions, they were looking outside the window, walikuwa wanapiga tu story. So in question 2 paper 1 CRE, we have the story of Abraham and the story of Moses. So in story of Moses was there in 2014. So I was teaching my students 2015 the story of Abraham, but nobody was raising his hands aulize hata maswali. Walikuwa tu wanapiga story wakiona huyu mtu anatoshana na sisi, yeye anaweza kuwa mwalimu aje. So walimu walikuwa wana job, lakini mimi nikawaambia this question can also be there, yani inaweza kuwa this year. And actually the question was there. It was about describe the call of Abraham. Niliwauliza hii swali lakini walikuwa wanapuuza. Niliwauliza hii swali. So the question was there. Question 2, paper 1 question 2 was there. Number 1A, describe the call of Abraham. So you know what we always do when marking these papers. What tunafanya hivi? When marking these papers, what tunapenda kufanya hivi? When you are told to describe the call of Abraham, have you mentioned the father of Abraham? Have you mentioned the age of Abraham? Have you mentioned the wife of Abraham? Nephew? Have you mentioned the flocks? Have you mentioned the promises that were given to Abraham by God? Have you mentioned where Abraham was told to move from and go to? Have you mentioned the places Abraham moved to? That is Bethel and Shechem. Have you mentioned the ark he built there? Have you said that he worshipped God at those 2 places? So those are the key points we always look when describing. And in paper 2, I must get question. There is no shortcut. You just have to read the story. You just have to know the history and life of Jesus Christ from mwanzo to mwisho. Like for example, in paper, and remember, huko paper 1, remember paper 1, 80% come from book 1. So kama unaweza soma question 1 ujue inatoka wapi, question 2 inatoka wapi, question 3 is something like to do with King David, Solomon and Saul. Question 4 ni kitu kama ancestors, and you know ancestors are like people who died long time ago. So how do we respect ancestors? How do we show some respect to ancestors, we as Christians? By pouring libation. Like for example, kama unataka kunywa chai, unapata kwamba unamwaga chai kidogo chini, then yani hata hao pia wakunywe. Yani you just show them respect. Then for example, if you give birth, you name your child with the name of the ancestors to show them respect, bado unawakumbuka. Again, when you are praying using their names, don't just mention their names anyhow. So and so on and so on. So in paper 2, as I said, that there's no shortcut. It's about life and history of Jesus Christ. That is paper 2 CRE. So in for example, if it is maths, you just have to, there are questions that must always be there. Like if it is section B, we have vector, probability, angle of elevation, statistics, mathematical instrument, distance, where magari unapata kwamba zinaenda huku, gari zingine zinaenda in opposite direction. In biology we call it countercurrent flow system, where blood and water flow in opposite direction. So kitu kama hiyo, those are a must get question. Like in composition, you just have to read, especially like me, I have my magazine here. I have niko na gazeti yangu hapa kwamba waga naisoma, then I improve in English. So for you to pass in composition, you just have to read. There is also oral literature here with me. So hizi ndio ukisoma unapita English and make sure that English inakuwa na paragraph kitu kama 5, 6 hivi. Isipite hapo ikuwe ile yani long story yenye hata ieleweke. Then when you are starting a paragraph, you start with things like however, nevertheless, more or less. So such like maybe I think I'm through, Madam Masi. Okay. Hakikisha kwamba umesubscribe YouTube channel yangu kwa kugonga alama ya kengele. Kisha basi share with your friends, like, and make sure you comment just what you heard. Otherwise, have a nice time.